Howdy doody, and welcome back to A Craft Evolved. It's season two. It is season two. Season one was what, 8 episodes, 9 episodes? I don't remember. I haven't kept track, but we're back at season two. Jeff, how you doing? How you been? How you feeling? Yeah. Yes. Very fun. I was excited to come back. It's been a little bit of a hiatus, a little bit of a wait, and then it was a little bit of what was it? Me biting my nails, saying, "Okay, let's do this again. I'm feeling ready. Let's get in and let's go." And also, not for nothing, we have a couple of ideas that we're going to try out this season that hopefully you'll like, or you may not like them. At this point, nobody knows, right? Very much. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah. Yep. Yep. Yes, and that's the thing we're gonna be doing in this season. I hope, which we hope becomes a thing. We're gonna it's bit of a skit or a segment called the ring. Literally, it's like a ring. So you step in there, and it's not. Unfortunately, it will not be Jeff and I battling to our deaths with lightsabers. It will be you versus something. So let's say it's a song you wrote. Let's say it's a text you like to work with, or anything like that, and you bring it in and you share it, and then we talk about it a little bit. We'll talk. We'll do like we do like in any studio setting. We'll talk about it a little bit beforehand, and then you ask what you want to, what you want me to look for, or what I want you to look for, and then we share it. And we chat, and it's kind of like in an open studio setting on Zoom, which is really interesting. Um, yes, yes, that's a good point. Good point. Yeah, I mean, this is during the live stream, beyond a shadow of a doubt. That's what we're here for. This is why it's a live stream. It's live because it's now. And now's when you go on and get it. Okay, so first of all, and I like what you mentioned about how it's like, yeah, don't we ask a question, we answer a question, we ask a question, we answer a question. And two people who definitely really don't talk like that is who? You and me. We don't talk like that. We don't ever sit around and talk like that. We basically just muse randomly over things, and that's the whole seed of this podcast idea, wasn't it? Was that we were sitting around musing over things and be like, man, maybe some other people would be interested in hearing about what we're talking about, right? And yeah, yes, exactly, exactly. And we hopefully that's the value we hope to bring. So we just basically what we did now is we have a couple of ideas and some things we want to talk about, and then we'll see where it leads us within the given parameters that is this live stream later podcast. And speaking of which, what happened to Instagram, man? What really happened to Instagram? What happened? Like last season, we were sitting here, we were bashing we said, no, you know what, you don't need social. You could have it, right, but you don't need it so much. And then we had Adam, right, from Adam's Voices, come in and say, no, you kind of should probably have a little bit of social media, if you want to. But then what happened? Yeah. Mm, we did. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 And also it's a bit yeah, man. And for me it's also yeah, it's been a bit of a reach out thing, you know? Missing people in real life, just sharing something. Yeah, and it doesn't always have to be for me because I noticed like we have our channel now that's the craft channel. We have our page, our Instagram, which is a craft evolved. And we try to kind of post there when we have craft evolved related things going on there. And then you and I both have our own separate, I guess private business, if you will, channels, right? And I just enjoy. It gives me. I take my perspective on just life, you know what I mean, and I share it with the people I don't get to see every day. And it becomes free marketing regardless because people I know who are like were in casting or somebody I was with in a movie with a year ago or somebody I was in a theater a play with like 5 years ago, you know, we're all seeing each other's lives on these devices, you know, and it just I don't know, to me it made a little more sense, especially like you said after Adam, but also after sharing a little bit myself. You know, after sharing a little bit myself, being like, okay, I enjoy seeing like, you know, I posted a breakfast sandwich the other day. Just a breakfast sandwich. As one does, you know, post because the food, my profile obviously contains a lot of food pics because I love food. But it's a breakfast sandwich, you know, and then this random new channel like hit me up and I got like a comedic reply because may I tell the story real quick because I'm kind of proud of it. I'm kind of proud of it. I build so I make my own English muffins, and then I made my own whole 9 yards with the you know the sauce and the cheese and everything. And I made it, took a picture, and I thought the picture looked pretty good, so I put it on Instagram. And then this, I guess it was a company contacted me and said, "Hey, DM the sandwich or something." And I think this does relate to the whole thing, because you get these weird requests even in your business posts. DM the sandwich, and I was like, "Sorry, mate, can do. I already ate it." You see what I did there? You know what I mean? And it just made me so happy. It's okay. You know, we last season we said we don't need Instagram. This season, yeah. Yes. Yeah. What the hell? Yeah. 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 We were too. Yeah. Yeah. These kids, man, they're getting us. You know what I'm saying? They were onto something, I guess. Yeah, and so I just believe like what, and I'd like to analyze this whole thing. I'd like to analyze because well, let's over because this is you and me talking. So let's overanalyze the whole thing because what was the real problem here when last season we were like, oh, you don't, do you need social media? Was the problem that we thought all social media was evil, or was the problem that we just didn't have the right attitude towards social media? You know what I mean? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Oh yeah. 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 Yeah, me too. Me too. And I like watching it too. My friends, it's changed my whole outlook because you know how you get the lonely actor blues, especially during the pandemic. You know, everybody's sitting around like, oh, they're okay. Did they get back to work yet? Did she get back to work yet? Oh, they're back to work now. Yeah, and then when, right? But actually seeing my friends get back into it was really nice. You know, I'm seeing stories of my friends who are working as crew on films that are opening up, or like other people I know who are like doing behind the scenes of their first tour post pandemic. You know what I mean? And to me, it was just like, yes, let's do it. Let's go out and do it. It's time. It's time to come back. As yes, I really it was important. Honestly, it was more important to me than I thought it would be. So there's value. It has intrinsic value. Is that not the word? Yeah. Nah, let's do that. Let's just take the pressure right off. Yeah. Because I do think the more like yeah, and enjoying it like my other channel. This is me talking as original Yank on YouTube. My other channel is becoming a thing where we got the Squiggly Army, right? The Squiggly Army, which is kind of like the subs and the people who support and the community of the channel, right? I see now that they'll come back and watch the streams and they'll be in the Discord server. But anyone new coming in, I noticed, and I was mentioning this to you right before the stream, is it's a thumbnail game on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like you need your thumbnail has to be like, okay, should I watch this or should I scroll to the next live stream or the next video? And your thumbnail is like a 1 second. You know, I mean, talk about like an elevator pitch being a problem or the first 30 seconds of an audition room. The thumbnail game is a nightmare, and I don't make particularly good thumbnails. I just don't do it. You can, if anybody's, and this is not a ploy for you to sub from the other channel. But if you even go check it out, the thumbnails are terrible. There are a couple good ones that I'm proud of because I get like an hour and a half to put one together, but they stink. You know what I mean? As with the social media, when it comes to Instagram specifically, I'll like just take a picture of something and I'll put a filter on it, make it funny, and then I'll post it. And it's something I think is fun to do. I enjoy it. It's great. It's nice. It's not like that hassle. As soon as it becomes the hassle, the pressure's on you to make because that's the problem with me right now with thumbnails on YouTube is it's hassle. It's pressure. I have to make one for every single stream or nobody's going to come and watch the stream. You know, you have these nightmarish, garish thoughts in your brain, you know? So, yes, pressure gone. Take it away. Have fun. Jeez, life's too short. Yeah. Look at us with our social media turnarounds. You'll never get social media. We'll be back in a year. But that's why it's called a craft evolved, right? And not a craft set in stone. You see what I'm saying? You're all on this journey, wherever you may be. You're on this journey with us, for sure. So what's happening on Broadway? I'm on the wrong side of the pond, man. I haven't been back in what it's almost going to be 3 years because of this pandemic. But I hear there are things are happening. What's happening? Broadway's going to do it, isn't it? Yes, we did. Yeah. Yeah, we just you keep going. I'm talking about it right now. I'm just trying to be audio visual right now because people be watching the stream, and they're watching the stream and they can see the thing, but people listening, if they listen later, they won't be able to hear it. So I'm just pulling it up to have a little chat about dates and stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's such a good question. I think that's a good question, and it is a really good question because if you think about it, when it comes to reopening strategies or anything like that, first of all, I'm just looking at the list of plays that they have opening on September 14th, which I guess is the date right now, right? September 14th is the big new date. Yes, and here in Norway, I'm just going to say they're doing it differently. I mean, there's a completely different thing going on there. They'll go back and forth depending on how many people have been how widespread the pandemic is on any given day. It's a completely different ballgame. So theaters have been open for a while, then they were closed again, then they were open for a while. For a little while, if you had 200 seats or 50 if they weren't bolted to the floor, or you know what I mean, you could have. So it was really weird. But we've pretty much been making theater off and on throughout this year based on how many people have been caught. But not for nothing, a lot of things have been, I mean, it's the same things that's been over there. Most things were canceled, postponed. And then, they'd open up and it'd be like, okay, 50, 25, 50 people, 30 people can come see the show. It's been so actually I'm not going to say I'm envious, but I'm happy that Broadway has decided to say, we're going to do this in a very long time. In many, many months from now, that's going to be the date. And I understand that it had a lot to do with uncertainty, right? But I think it's just a widespread idea of what me personally also, what I've kind of decided to do. It's like, I just need to let it go. And then on that date, I'm going to come back and see if I can do it. You know what I mean? Because I really respect it but on the other hand, it makes perfect sense because this is how much money we're going to lose until that specific date. Exactly. Can we make it to this specific date? We can. Okay, so that's going to be the date, So it makes so much sense to do that. And I'm seeing all the shows now. To go back to what we were talking about, the shows. Hamilton opens 14th. Wicked, The Lion King, Chicago's opening. What else? Moulin Rouge, Aladdin. Right? I see those are going a little later on, but it's September, October, right? All these all the tourist blockbusters, if you will, are opening up in September. Now, that makes sense to me if the tourists are back. You know what I mean? That to me is the whole thing, because if you live in New York, you're not going to go see Wicked again. Some people do, I guess. Yeah, I'm sorry if I stepped on your toes. Somebody's toes out there for liking Wicked. Wicked's a great show, but there's only so many times I can see it. But you know what I mean? Like, especially up in the nosebleeds, way in the back, snuck in, standing room only, because that's exactly pretty much. I remember the living in New York, and to me, here's the thing: living in New York was to go see shows like that, which are great shows. I mean, it's world tier theater. But I would only go when somebody was visiting who hadn't seen them, because you know what I mean? It's you, and like a question you asked before the stream, when's off Broadway opening? Is that anything? But we'll, get back to that when we talk about equity in a minute. But I think honestly, it's the tourists. Will the tourists be back by September 14th, September 24th, October 8th? You know what I mean? Like, will the world allow people to fly to New York on a long, on a long weekend or whatever it may be? You know what I'm saying? So I think that might be the whole caboodle, the whole thing. Tourism in the world in general. If that opens up, then, people are going to come back and see Broadway shows. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Even I was going to say, yeah. Yep. Even more exclusive, making it an even more exclusive ordeal. That's why hopefully, yeah. Well, off Broadway maybe, right? Because Equity did a thing, didn't they? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Like with reopenings, it's been a weird year, man.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
just realized, Jeff, I don't want to make you upset you or anything,
Oh no.
but I just realized we've been streaming for 10 minutes, I think, right?
Okay.
23 minutes, and you have no audio. Hold on.
Oh.
Hold on. You've been recording your end, right?
I have.
Okay, and I've been recording on my end. So we should be cool for later, but for right now, let's figure this out right now. Because now I understand why only you and I are watching this. Hold on.
Okay. We did it again.
Listen. Oh, you're back. I got you. I fixed
Hey,
you.
one, two,
Literally
one,
while
two,
you were
one, two.
talking, I fixed you.
Okay.
Yes.
Listen, we're working on this, man. We'll get there.
We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna get there. I also believe that it's cool. We're gonna learn. You learn something new every single day.
Yes, you do.
You know what I'm saying?
We're evolving.
Yeah, hey, look, we got somebody just showed up to watch the stream, and hopefully, hopefully they can hear you and me now after 24 minutes.
Yep.
So I'm sorry. We were equity. Please pull it up again. Talk to me about it.
Yes. Yeah. The last thing I was going to say is that like recently, equity has been really trying to talk to us, which I really like. There's one thing they've started, and it started on April 7th of this year, where they've implemented an equity weekly, where they talk about.
Yeah.
In this first one, they have a vaccine webinar coming up. They have talking about federal arts funding. They talk about guidelines for vaccinated workplaces. But here's the thing, Raymond, like April 7th of this year is the first time we get something like this. So please, I am not saying I'm not thankful, and I don't think this is a step in the right direction, but I do get the frustration that's kind of generally within actors, which is like, for a year, we didn't know anything. And especially with regards to our professional lives as actors, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that. And again, I hear both sides. But the world was confused, but man, but the silence was hard, dude. So that's I see both sides. So I both sympathize with equity, but I'm like, April 7th is pretty far into the pandemic to start talking to us about it. You know?
It really is.
You know, so.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. It is in general, because equity being we're speaking, if you're listening from Norway right now, we're speaking of American equity. That's a company that's supposed to protect workers, rights.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, you see both sides. I also can understand that it's hard, right? On the other hand, it's your job to make the hard decisions. Because equity, that's what equity does. And I've seen it. I've seen equity in England, equity in the States. They drive a hard bargain. That's some pretty talented people when it comes to making sure people get what they need.
Yes.
So I wasn't even aware of this, because obviously I'm equity here in Norway, and that's a different company, and the whole organization is different here than it is in the UK, and than it is in the States and other places in Europe. And I'm used to them are literally being out every couple of weeks, with some sort of statement, some sort of thing they're working on toward the politicians, questions being asked to politicians. Why is this happening? Why is this not happening? So I had no idea that this was happening in equity in the States. I just assumed that equity, like capital E equity, how many millions of actors are in, what was I going to say? How many actors do you have in equity in the States? I don't even have the number.
Off the top of my head, I don't know. It might only be in the hundreds of thousands, I think. But But again, it's like you just said. I appreciate this weekly thing they're putting out. I
Yeah.
just wish it would have started sooner, and that's all I'll say about it, because I don't want to sound like I'm bashing freaking equity. I'm just simply saying that, like, this is something I would have loved to have seen shoot April, not 2021, but of 2020.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes,
Because
for
I
sure.
appreciate it. So
Yeah. I
Yeah, that's all.
understand that. And honestly,
Yeah.
as a member of equity, that is a right that you need to bring with you. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
for sure, man.
That is
Yeah.
something you have the absolute right to say. Paying member
Yeah.
of equity is like, where
Hell
were
yeah.
you and what are you going to do now?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
That should be a part of the deal, basically. You know, your
Yeah,
part of
yeah.
the deal is you don't take work that's under tariffs,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and their part of the deal has to be to protect you as a worker,
Yeah.
you know?
And putting information like this out, like, I read it every week now. I don't know if every other actor is into it as I am, but like, I enjoy reading this little weekly blurb about reopenings and
Yeah.
vaccine information and stuff like that. So
Good.
you know,
Good.
again, good move, but man, I would have loved it sooner.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's all.
And
That's
this,
where I'm
let's just reach out to equity right quick and say, in this particular situation, better late than never is not the
There
way
we
to
are.
go.
at. That's it. That is the one.
You know, it's
That's
not,
it.
that was not maybe the correct thought in this situation. Someone needs to make a statement somewhere at some point. That's what I feel.
Just glad it's here, but yeah,
Exactly.
would have loved it sooner. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, man. Makes
Yeah, man.
perfect sense.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, this past year,
Hmm.
what
We're going deep.
Yeah. So, I'm not sure, man, when it comes to theater in this past year, I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Me neither, dude.
I'm not sure what's going to happen. It could go anywhere. It could go any way, any which way, you know, it could go either way, literally.
Yeah. Do we certainly touched on this last season, but like, do you see a digital element to every professional theater show now?
I don't
Maybe
know.
not necessarily a stream, but like certainly professionally recorded clips and stuff like that. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I think because a lot of the thing that, I don't know, something that kind of gets to me is how theater has become digital and free.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how it is in this. I mean, I know NTL, like National Theater Live, and a couple of houses on Broadway and off Broadway have a couple, like they have their services there where they will record the show and they'll stream it, and you can buy a ticket. You know, you can go to movies and buy a ticket and watch the show. But there have been, especially here, because a lot of, especially like the national theaters here, they're subsidized heavily by the government, and which, you know, it's not like it's a thing where they make government theater. It's just that they have government subsidies.
Yeah.
And that makes them able to produce theater. And don't get me wrong, they do need ticket revenue because it's a very, very big part of what they do. If they didn't need ticket revenue, it would be terrible and corrupt and all these things. But they're not as dependent on ticket revenue as, let's say, a freelancer would be. And when these houses would stream their shows, and I think they still do, for free to audiences, open audiences, it makes it really hard for us as freelancers to charge for our shows.
Yeah.
And that's something I feel is going to be very difficult moving forward is, and this is a normal, like in any business, you give somebody something for free, they're going to expect it free forever. That's just,
You remember,
freaking
Napster, changed the music industry.
Napster.
Is there a parallel here where,
that's such a good example.
it's like, yeah, I want a digital version of the show. Hamilton was released on Disney Plus. Why isn't every Broadway show released on Disney Plus? And for that matter, then people certainly download it for free. You know,
exactly.
Like that
is such a good comparison, man. That is so good. I had almost forgotten about Napster and Metallica and Napster, man. That was a fun time. LimeWire, yeah, I forgot. Oh, that was fun times when that happened. Do you remember that time?
Do you remember Kazaa? Wasn't that another one?
Kazaa was another one, yeah.
Yeah.
Napster,
Oh man.
LimeWire, because I was a LimeWire user, heavy LimeWire user. I would say maybe
The amount of times I downloaded the Matrix 1 soundtrack.
Oh God!
Like,
but I feel that was like they. I think they wanted you to do that.
I think they did
maybe
too. I'm
they'd molest you, but you'd
Yeah.
like it would be okay. You know what I mean? Like you would get sued, but it would be with love because
it's
they
like
would want you to download. They'd be like, it's the Matrix. You know what I mean? You
like-
want to stick it to the Matrix by taking it from the Matrix.
It's like, dude, you did the very thing, but it's like you also
Broke the law.
downloaded it. We want your money, but like, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You
did
were
a great
Neo
thing,
that
but
day.
we still want all your money.
You were Neo that day, yes.
Yes. And we did feel a little bit like Neo, didn't we? Remember in the Matrix when he had the little mini discs, that he was like his little viruses or whatever he was making at night programming, and then his little mini discs, and then I download the stuff.
Caught with this.
Yeah.
You don't know me.
You don't know me. There you go. There he is. You're Neo. You are Neo.
That's Keanu.
I knew Kung Fu. Yep, that's right. And we were like that, LimeWire. Download the song, download whatever you need, stick it on your little mini disc player, be Neo.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true, man. Oh, that made me feel good. And I think that's a day that might be where we're at in theater, man. Like change wise, that might be where we're at. There's a lot of things that there are a lot of kinks that need to be ironed out here.
Yeah,
because somebody who just watched the national live stream of Hedda Gobbler, why will they pay to see my version of Hedda Gobbler on stream? I don't think, and it's not that I'm not trying to say that like underestimate our audiences in any way. I know people know that there are different ways of making theater, especially theater goers, people who are actually targeted, our target audience, people who go to the theater. But
yeah.
I'm just worried that thought is so ingrained. You know what I mean? It'll just heave us many steps back. It'd be like, okay, I'm going to pay this ticket because I'm supporting my friend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a really dangerous thought. We've worked really hard to get away from that.
Yeah.
To be like, no, but this is commercial. This is a thing that we have a budget for, and the tickets are in that budget. You know what I mean? We need that money. So please buy the ticket, and I don't know, maybe it's me being overly pessimistic. And like I said, underestimating the audience. I don't know.
Yeah, dude.
I hope it is. I hope I'm completely wrong and people are like, no, it's not a problem. I really am stuck in that adage of if you give somebody something for free, they're going to always want it for free.
I see it, man. And shoot, man. I just completely agree. And I hadn't thought about it where like Hamilton's a great example. It's like, I loved watching it on Disney Plus, actually. Like I got a great enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
Is that the way people are going to expect theater? It's like, not have we shot ourselves in the foot, but like, is there an expectation now? Maybe.
Yeah. And not for nothing. There's been, films or not, they're called, they're called something, not adaptations, but I was going to say transfigurations. It's not the word, but there's something you do when you do what they did with Hamilton, which is take the stage play and don't alter it, but just shoot it in a way so that it kind of is an interesting movie to watch at the same time. You know what I mean? Like they've done that with plays forever. But it hasn't
Producers was kind of that way in 2005,
exactly.
But very similar.
I remember seeing Rent. I remember seeing the video of Rent was shot like that.
Yeah.
With Idina Menzel. What did he call her? Adele Dazeem, poor lady.
Adele Dazeem. I remember watching that live.
Adele
I was like,
Dazeem
what
was
did
in
he
that?
say? This was live?
That poor gentleman's never going to forget that. He's never going to be allowed to forget it. I feel bad for him. We don't. I mean, I would certainly not want that to be with me forever.
Be a legacy. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you do? Pulp Fiction and Adele Dazeem.
Adele Dazeem. Dude, the other thing I think might change permanently is self-tapes are here to stay.
Yeah.
I think it's cost effective for these theaters that are like in Oklahoma or Montana.
Yeah.
They don't have to fly to New York to get their equity actors.
Mm-hmm.
I think it in that Zoom was a big jump for a lot of companies. Like it was like, actually we can like work remote 4 days a week. We don't even need an office.
Yeah.
I think there's a sort of like, honestly, we can get great actors through these tapes. So why would we then instantly go back to fly someone to New York, sit there for 8 hours?
Yeah.
Is that here to stay now? Maybe.
I don't know. We need to talk to a casting director about that. We need to talk to many casting directors about that.
We do.
Now,
do.
because I don't know. I really don't know. Because like I remember before the pandemic, people were talking about self-tapes, especially casting directors I know were talking about self-tapes as this necessary evil, this thing that has become too big. There's too much of it. They want people back in the room so they can do their job as casting directors.
Sure.
But then now there's no chance. You have no other option. You have to cast people on self-tapes.
Yeah.
And I don't know, has one learned from it? I certainly enjoy it because being decentralized myself, I am a big proponent of self-tapes. Now don't get me wrong, at some point I need to meet the person I'm sending the self-tape to. So
yes,
for me, it's like, okay, I could go somewhere, do some work for the casting director in question, like an in-person audition or an interview or whatever, so that we can get a feel of each other. And then from then on, send in self-tapes. You know what I mean? Because then you get a rapport with the person. You kind of get a feeling of who the person is. It's easier to chat and feedback. But a fully, like the way we do it and have done it classically, you know how it is. They'll be like, okay, please have the actor submit this and this and this and this self-tape. And nobody has ever met anyone. They just saw your picture.
Yeah.
That's rough. It's always been rough and it's always going to be rough. But I don't think it's going anywhere. It's going to be here to stay. The self-tape is...
I think it's a standard, man.
Yeah.
It'll be great to check in maybe another year. We would just like see what's going on. But like, dude, it just seems like it's like, why would you take a step backwards to again, like the cost of like flying someone to New York to find your actors?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
It's just, it'll be weird, man. So that might be a permanent change. I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know either, man. We'll see where it goes. This is, like we said, a craft evolved.
Yes.
We're moving on, but the self-tape might be here to stay. And hopefully the Zoom readings can go
I've always liked them. No, sorry. What? So here.
Yeah.
I've always liked the readings of like with your friends of a new play, but to like go and see a Zoom reading is actually very difficult for me, and to sit there and be just like staring at a Zoom reading. So yeah, my full thought is that like I appreciate it's like, hey, like, dude, I wrote something new. Can we like read it over Zoom and you get like 6 actors together? But theaters saying we're not doing a production, but we're gonna do a Zoom reading of The Glass Menagerie. Come on in for 2.5 hours. I'm like,
no.
Oh boy.
Just can't have it. I think
learned. That's where I am with that.
I think we collectively learned that that's not going to work. Because like I agree with you. Of course, getting together, because Zoom is one thing Zoom brought to the world is very low latency. I remember trying to do readings or auditions even over Skype. You remember back in the day? Zoom definitely brought low latency into the mix and did a really good job with, and I don't even know how they did it. It's some sort of internet magic. Why is Zoom different from Skype or TeamSpeak or Discord for that matter?
Ventrilo.
Yeah, but they just do it better. And that's a good thing because, it connects people, like you said, and, reading new work. And even if it's on purpose, like you could do some really interesting things with Zoom as a format, but then you need to use it as a format.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I want someone to log in and look at it more like a journey and a film maybe than actually listening to a reading or radio. Because if you want to listen to it, then you produce a radio play. That's way better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You take a day and you just produce that shit out of a radio play.
Yeah.
Or something, you know what I mean? That's because that's quality. You can make real high quality radio theater.
Yes, you can.
So I think like instead of it being half theater and half radio play, having it completely be either, like you said, your friends getting together, reading some new work that you put together, or just trying out some stuff, or on the other hand, using Zoom as a journey and as a medium on its own. And I have yet to see it, like 100% work, but it can. I've seen people try, and I've seen it be so close to where I've been like, oh, come on, another Zoom. And then I click on it and I sit there for a minute. I'm like, ooh, something goes down. So it's definitely, it has potential. It's just, I think it needs to be explored and capitalized in a way, it maybe, in a way where we're not like, our shoulders are not up inside of our ears because everybody's like, we're rusty, we're dying. The whole industry is dying. I am at the forefront with my Zoom readings, trying to keep it alive. Like if we can actually just take a step back and be like, hey, how can we use this tool you know?
Yeah. Dude, yes, I agree. Like, yeah, maybe it is a part of like we were all so anxious to just do something that we were just like, put it on Zoom, put it on
Yeah,
Zoom.
yeah,
But
yeah.
like, is there a way to like, again, iron it out, make it, is it a, is this on the theaters to have like a standardization of like everyone has an Ethernet cord, everyone has a certain level of camera, everyone has a certain level of microphone. Now we're talking about something. But
Yeah.
I agree with you. I've seen enough of these Zoom readings where I'm just like, oh boy, oh boy,
Yep.
oh boy.
Yep.
Like, I don't know if I can do an hour and a half to 2 hours of this.
Nope.
So yeah, we've all seen that. We have all seen that.
Yeah, we've been there, and some of us have been in them. I feel
how true is that?
You know what I mean? So we're all in the same boat here, for sure. And we knew, at least I knew, I was like, okay, this is not, I'm sitting here. I can't see anyone. I can't feel anyone. I'm just doing my words at this point.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, we'll see if it's here to stay or not, but it's definitely done something. There's things that have changed, and there's a lot of pieces I feel that need to get picked up. When it comes to what the pandemic has done to the theater world and what the aftermath is going to be, because we're not going to necessarily go back to tribe dancing in front of a fire and everybody in the room together making magic, making theater and just pick up where we left off. I don't think we even can pick up where we left off.
Yeah.
I don't even remember where we left off at this point. You know what I mean? It's only been a year, but where were we even going? I think we need to just pick up the pieces and say, where are we now? And where can we move from here?
Yeah. Man, that's the right attitude. Yeah.
Oh, show. So how you feeling? Are you warmed up? Are you limbered up? Are you feeling good? Do you want to bring something into the ring tonight, Jeff?
I do.
I just noticed that we both have V-necks. Maybe we'll just do every single episode with V-necks on. We are the V-neck dudes. If anybody's wondering, we are the dudes with the V-necks who do live streams and podcasts.
I've always thought the V-neck is the perfect blend of casual, but like, we put a little bit of thought into it. It just lives right there.
The V-neck is definitely the first thing. If we ever end up merching this thing, making this a real legit, this like if the channel ever takes off,
the Craft Evolved V-neck.
I vow that our first piece of merch is going to be a V-neck with Craft Evolved on it.
You are correct, sir. It will be the Craft Evolved V-neck. I want that.
There's even a V-neck in the name, Craft Evolved with little V in the logo.
Dude, we'll put the E here, the
and
V,
the V in the neck, and the O
there.
right there. Exactly.
And no one will buy it.
We're talking merch, and no one will buy it.
Yeah.
But I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
All right. So what do we have to play with today in the ring, Jeff?
All right, dude. So my first entry for the ring, because I'm really going to treat this as a creative space where maybe I bring something and it's fully finished. Maybe I bring something and it's just like, hey, dude, I just want your like thoughts on it. And this one is more the latter. I found a monologue. It's a minute and a half, and I can't tell if this will work in a room or if this is like maybe like hyper specific for a certain play.
Yeah.
So full spoilers now. It's a monologue from Talk Radio. I don't know if you have read that, but I actually have the play here with me. It's this. Look at that.
Talk Radio. Oh yeah, that's the play where they No, wait. I'm not thinking about the same thing.
There we go. Let me get it right in the frame there. Eric Bogosian. Am I pronouncing that right? But he also did Suburbia. That's his other famous.
Yeah.
That's a big famous play. But it was written in the 80s, and it's about a talk show host that is just like tired of all the fluff that's on the radio. So on his little station, he just spits the truth. Ooh. He has callers come in, and he has a certain amount of integrity, even if it's at like the expense of like decorum. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's why people like him, which reminds me of like how there's been this distrust in the media today. And like a lot of YouTubers, now people watch them because they just spit the truth. Yeah. So that's where I think there's a certain element where this works. Ooh. Where I think it's dated, maybe you'll hear it in the talk of this specific monologue. And it's also a little bit in the play. It's just like, it is from the 80s. It is a product of the 80s, and it just reads. Yeah. So maybe that's like why a part of me is like, maybe enjoy it, really enjoy the play, but also like maybe it's had its time, and it like, maybe it's just not here anymore. That's just not where we're at.
Yeah. Where are we?
In the play, the very brief, this is the briefest synopsis, but it's like one live night on the radio for this guy, and he essentially by the end kind of has a breakdown.
Whoa.
But live on the air, and and he's breaking all the rules, but like people are still loving him for it. It's a cool play in that aspect. But anyways, long story short, I'd love to do this monologue for you about right when he starts his show. This is like almost how he opens it, essentially, on this night. Sweet. So yeah, dude, let me see what you think here.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Metroscan Broadcasting is a multimedia corporation specializing in broadcast radio. It has 357 affiliate stations in the United States and Canada. 2 minutes ago, I received a phone call from the president of Metroscan Broadcasting. He asked me if they could pick up the show, pick up Night Talk, for nation syndication starting Monday night. Now, you're probably wondering why the corporate types down at Metroscan would want a guy like me, a big mouth, someone who isn't afraid to tell it like it is, running his mouth on all those stations. I'll tell you why. Money, advertising dollars, ratings, and I got the ratings, kids. And the reason I've got the ratings is because of you, my listeners. So if any of you out there are worried that Barry might soften his touch, ease up, change his style for a national show, let me put your mind at ease. That's impossible. Can't be done. This great country of ours needs someone to wake it up, to shake it up, and to tell the truth for a change. And that someone is me. So I told the president of Metroscan Broadcasting, take it or leave it. Well, folks, he took it, and that means that this show, Night Talk, goes national starting Monday night. You put me here, folks, and I love you for it. Democracy is a wonderful thing. So here's what I need you to do. There's a device in your home. It's called a telephone. I want you to pick it up. Go ahead. Take your hand out of the potato chip bowl. Reach out, grab your phone. Hold it up to your face and dial 555-TALK. That's 555-TALK. We're going national, kiddies. You better have something to say. I know that I do. That's the end. Right there.
Dude. That's, you know what it reminds me? It's got like the Howard Stern movie thing in it.
It does.
You know, the naughty radio guy?
Yeah.
And I'm on your side.
Yeah.
And speaking of one thing that hit me immediately, and I'm not going to say like too much about it.
Sure.
One thing that hit me square in the face as soon as you started was this would be the play to do on Zoom.
You know, I had that thought. It's funny you say that.
We just sat here for 15 minutes and ripped the hell out of the Zoom plays that we were in, that we'd seen, but this could actually be done in that format. Could you do this
play? Could you actually do it on Zoom and it like actually flies? Maybe.
Maybe. You know, like this is the perfect kind of thing for that.
Like microphone in frame. Did we just discover something?
I think we did, dude. I think that play needs to exist in the world. Because I mean, and for you, obviously, you know, there's type wise. I don't even think twice type wise. I mean, it's you. I know it might be because brother. I know you, and this is why we're very bad at this toward each other. But like, you've been in this talking head business before. You know what I mean? Yeah. You've been in that place. You know, you just slip right into those boots as soon as you're in it. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as you start, you're in it. You slip right into those boots, and then I want to. You know, you make me want to call the station. You make me want to call the station. You know what I mean? Like you just slip right into it because it's something. Where would you do it in other? Like, where did you think about bringing it anywhere in the real world? Where would you want to bring it in the real world?
That's where I have struggled with this monologue. Actually,
yeah. Because what would be really cool would be like to bring it into an in-the-house audition.
Yeah,
and like have something invisible be your microphone. You know what I mean? Like
You would have to, right?
Yeah, if you bring it in, you'd have to do something. I feel it like if I were to bring it into a room, I'd have to do something insane. Like I would literally have to take my shoe off and use it as a microphone and just make love to that microphone while I was, you know what I mean?
I think you're hitting on exactly where I like found this monologue. I thought it was cool. I thought it had a cool arc. We very much get a sense of this character. We get a little bit of sense of how he cares about his listeners. That there's like a punk rock element to him.
Yeah.
But then like, can you do this standing in a room completely relaxed, like just straight to your casting directors?
Like you almost need to be in a chair. Yeah. You almost need to be sitting in a comfy lean back chair with a cigarette in your hand, even though you don't even smoke.
Yes. And that's it. And that's where I'm like, is it a fun monologue? And I just learn it because I like it, or like, could this actually be a monologue I bring to auditions? And then I start to lean towards it's like, damn, maybe not. And that's where I'm at.
That stinks though, because like I would like to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, something crazy happened. Like you bring it in the room, you'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna do a monologue from a radio. You know what I mean? You'd be like, I'm doing it, and it doesn't even like it's from a play. Obviously, it's a play where the guy's on the stage doing the play.
Yeah.
But you're on the radio.
Like, look at, and again, we got this lovely picture on front. Like they had him on a booth. Like they're very much making him on the radio in the Broadway version in that picture, as you can see.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, I like the monologue.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It would be like a private moment, like a private and public kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe you could bring it there somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. The problem is I can see how I think I know why you feel the way you feel personally.
Dude, yes.
And I don't know if I can even help you answer the question either. I just can only see what I saw.
Is it like such a hyper specific monologue that could work in only, a certain situation? Like maybe that's it. Maybe if they're literally looking for a radio guy, then you're like, dude, I bring the radio monologue. But it's like, this is a general EPA. And then you bring this.
The radio.
Is it like, well, he's like pretending he's on the radio, but he's like standing.
Yeah.
We don't have a chair for him.
Because we're in a theater where they rented
how
for
are we
the
going to
day.
make this work?
Yeah.
So that's where and again, maybe this one doesn't matter. This will be my last question for you. But like, there's little dated elements where he's like, hey, man, pick up this thing called a telephone. And like, does that make it sound just like, it's like, dude, this is so 80s. This is just like, but maybe
you have a device. What do you say? You have a device in your home. It's called a telephone.
Yeah, that's what he says. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know though, because like, it's like you said, it has to be specific. It would have to be I agree with you. It would have to be for something quite specific. You'd be like, this is the audition where I do the radio monologue from the 80s.
And but this is so funny. I have had an audition where they were looking for an announcer.
Boom.
Would this then be, it's like, Jeff, bring talk radio, but it's like,
talk radio.
Bring it to an EPA. You might actually just look strange.
Yeah.
You might,
or
because
like,
you're.
Yeah. The Broadway or, on stage version of Back to the Future.
Yeah.
That would be a place to bring it. You know what I mean? You like, if you're going in for one of the supporting roles there. Yeah.
I can see it.
Like something, it just has to have that flavor, doesn't it? It has that flavor of talking
like
head
retro,
radio. Yeah,
like
yeah.
A time past, This is where we were at one point.
But it feels good though. I mean, I think maybe I'm leaning toward the specifics. Like, right, it's something that is good. It's because obviously it's fun to, got to be fun to work on. I can't even,
Yeah, good monologue, right? Well written.
Yeah.
Nice little arc.
Oh yeah, it does. It has a real nice arc. And I think, but definitely specific. It's something specific.
It's again, like having this in front of me. Plays.
Oh yeah,
like this.
It
like
makes
this plays.
It
suddenly
changes.
You're like, I believe it.
Exactly. I buy it right away. And also because I know that this is something that you kind of have in your system. You know what I mean? Like that's a role that you slip into real easily. But that's a good thing. You see, that's another thing. That's why I'm like, do it. Like, don't drop it, because those pieces of gold are so good. Like, oh, this guy, I know what he's all about. You know what I mean? I can get involved with these things that are happening. Those circumstances, if there's these, they're very specific circumstances that are very something that you know well. You know what I mean? It's like the basketball thing. You know what I mean? Like, can you play basketball? Like if you actually are really good at playing basketball, then bring it in.
Dude, yeah. Bring that talent in the room.
Exactly. So it speaks for something. And I think for something specific, it'd be cool.
Yeah. I think that's it. So That's my ring entry, man.
I'm
That's
glad
what
you brought that sucker into the ring. Yeah, punch it. I gotta make like some sort of cool like stinger and a jingle and things getting punched and sounds and some sort of. Don't I? I gotta make that, but I can do that in
the
post.
two acting masks go like this.
Yeah,
like,
there you go.
They crash up against each
ding,
other.
Ding ding.
That'd be cool.
Something like that's gotta happen. It's gotta go down.
Yeah.
We'll fix it in post. You know what they say. That's what they say on all the movies. We'll fix it in post. Yeah. Sounds good.
Beautiful, dude. Thank you for listening. Yeah.
Thanks for bringing it into the ring, my man. Yeah. So that makes it my turn. Now, I have something that's actually quite long because I've been given a time frame. I'm actually auditioning. There's an open call at a house here in Norway on Wednesday.
It's coming up, man.
Wednesday, yes. So
days away.
Yes, and I found this monologue I've worked on a little bit before during a workshop, and I've been digging the past week and a half, trying to kind of bring back what I had and what make it fresh and play with it. So, and it's in Norwegian, so I believe you, Jeff. I'll give you the circumstances and the person, and then I'll kind of read it, and. Let me know if you I don't know, tempo, intonation, feel, sense. Well, it'll be kind of as much of an experiment of understanding where this person is at, I guess, regardless of language, if I'm, doing that. But to explain it real quick, circumstances is it's a guy, the son of a family who they live on a farm. So there's a gentleman around my age and his two parents. And they live on a farm in this deep in a fjord here in Norway, somewhere just way out there. And it's a pretty big farm, and it used to be very glorious. It had a heyday during his father's generation, or before his father's generation. And then basically, his father let the farm rot because the son, who I will be reading, is kind of useless. And I say that with all the love in my heart for this character, but whatever he tries to do, he ends up fucking up because he has these fantasies in his head of how he wants things to be, and they never really work out. I decided that I was gonna, I was gonna help my father on the farm, and I ended up reading Morgan Cain books every day, all day. I also have some sort of nerve damage in my head, but that I haven't quite figured out. But it doesn't but it doesn't really affect me day to day. But it's something that makes, gives me mood swings. It makes things weird. It makes the way I look at reality is not necessarily the same way everyone else looks at reality. And my father in this scene he died a few months back. And we, at this point in the play, we really don't know exactly what happened because it's one of those plays that goes back and forth in time. But we do know that it was violent and it was not expected. And it was during a hunting trip. And basically what I'm talking about is the night he died, I go down to the water where the accident happened and I see a deer. And this deer I make to be a symbol of the changing of the guards, my father being gone and me taking over and being the new owner of the farm, and to me it's this sign, this signal, this renaissance, seeing this magical buck come out of the ocean.
Yes.
And I basically, I don't know if you ever read Peer Gynt, but it reminds me a lot of his monologue. Yeah. Where he talks to Muosa, Bukkirit, it's called in Norwegian. Where he talks about where he rode the buck up and down the mountain. It reminds me of that. It's really kind of fantastical. So I'm going to bring it up and then we'll see if it makes any sense. I'm really interested to see,
dude,
what it does.
I'm stoked. Whenever you're ready, man. I'm ready.
Cool. Vi hadde vaska liket. Han lå i likskjorta. Det var stille i huset, og du sov, jeg. Jeg fikk ikke ro, så jeg gikk ned dit der så det skjedde. Ned til skåtsteinen. Men det underlige, det var at jeg så jeg grein. Jo, altså, det var jo ikke mer enn det. Det var jeg grein, ikke sant? Det er hundedager, og da kommer alt opp. Alt vrenger seg. Så jeg grein, det er jo ikke noe... Men så kom det en slags prusting. Sånn. På lyden så kunne det ha vært en nise. Det ligger ofte en nise ute på der. Ja. Tenkte jeg, noen niser ligger og leker seg. Jeg grein, flytt forbi. Det er hundedager. Det var jo ikke mer med det. Han far var død, og der satt jeg. Jeg tenkte på hvordan dette skulle bli. Og alt det som hadde skjedd. Men så mye nærmere denne gangen. Det kom fra greinen. Lyden kom fra greina. Det var jækla rart. For greina, de lager jo ikke lyd. Det er jo klart at greina, de lager jo lyd. Men ikke sånn, ikke på sjøen. På sjøen så lager de ikke greina lyd. Og så begynner denne greina å drive mot land. Det var helt høl i hodet. For det var jo strøm ut etter fjorden. Og drev motstrøms. Og da tok jeg til å undre som jeg holdt på å bli. At jeg fikk sånn... Men så bles det igjen. Hva var dette da for noe? Så jeg gikk lenger ned mot sjøen for å se hva det var. Og da så jeg hva det var. Vet du hva det var? Det var en hjort. Det var faen meg en hjort med et helsikes gevir. Bannabein. Svømte rett mot meg, prusta, og svømte beint på land. Det som jeg trodde var en grein, det var jo et jækla gevir. Og niselyden, ikke sant? Han kom rett mot meg, beint på storskjæret. Så jeg gjemte meg bak en stein så han ikke skulle se meg. Og så lette han for å finne en plass å gå i land, og så drog han seg opp. Og der sto han, i måneskinnet, diger. Så inn i helsikes diger. Jeg har aldri sett noe så digert, djevelsk. Han sto der som om han eide alt. Fjorden, fjella, alt var hans. Og med månen og sjøen blenkende bak. Det var et syn. Det var ikke til å tru. Hele geviret, det var bare tagg i tagg. Så står han her da. Værer seg. Ser seg rundt. Stille. Grabang! Helt stille først. Og så grabang! Han ristet seg, ser du? Alt var helt stille, men da han ristet seg, et brak mellom fjellene, alt eksploderte. Jeg skvatt, jeg gjorde det. Og da så han meg. Så rett på meg, rett i øynene. Han bare står, han viker ikke. Han bare stirrer, ser rett på meg. Lenge. Det føles som om han... Lenge. Så slipper han, helt rolig, ser opp mot skogen. Så ser han tilbake på meg. Og så går han. Verdig, bort etter berget, all verdens ro. Men når han kom til skogen, så stoppet han og så på meg igjen. Puff. Vekk. Det var kongen. Det var faen kongen. Storvikhjorten. Jeg hadde sett kongen. Det var faen ikke til å tro. Tenk da, han far. Han var nett død. Og jeg var blitt den nye vikerbonden, så får jeg se Storvikhjorten. Det var som om han kom og fortalte meg at nå er far din død, nå er det din tur. Det som har skjedd, og det var rett. Og nå er det din tur. And that's it.
Oh, man, dude. That was incredibly cool to hear.
How does that feel word? Now, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
It's not only Norwegian. It's nynorsk, so it's a version of Norwegian that's different from, the standard Norwegian. It's very advanced, not advanced, it's just really hard to explain. But how did that come out for you when you experienced it?
Yeah. I can tell you that at the beginning, it started in this place. This will be really interesting to hear if this is what you were saying, but in a sort of place of like friendly banter, we're kind of just talking about our situation, to suddenly getting into slightly mocking it is what I got at sort of towards the middle, and by the end there was an intensity, a calling out of it felt like wrongs, but never you losing your cool. You're not an insane person. This is not a mental breakdown, tears rolling down your face. It's almost like you're in the driver's chair and you're just experiencing these feelings. I did recognize the word fawn.
Fawn. You've learned that word. You've hollered that word to the open North Sea on a mountain in Norway, have you not? Or on a little mountain overlooking the ocean. Fawn.
But even then, you didn't shout it, screaming, veins bulging, like you casually are just saying this. In the same way, if we were talking, let me just throw a sentence out. If I was just like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
So like, that's the kind of vibes I got. I'm so curious as if the journey reflects any of that, where again, like it starts in this place of like, it's almost like friendly. It's almost like talking, to this place of like, mocking is what I would describe it. And then finally, I'm calling you out. I have something I want to say. So please, now go to town. Okay.
Now that's just crazy. Let me tell you why. You know who I'm talking to in the play? My mother. This is after the father is dead. I'm talking to my mother. I start out literally like, I'm going to tell you a story now, mommy. Right?
Yeah.
And then into the monologue. What was that second part? What was you said in the middle part there? Where
I said there was a mocking feeling. It was in your tone. It was in your inflections.
Yeah. Now,
sort of mocking.
Yeah, because that's the part where I see the deer. And what I first think it is I first think it's a branch. I first think the deer's, I see it in the ocean, in the water. And I think it's a branch. And then it comes toward me and I can't believe what happens. What's going on? And then I see the deer and it's just this, he looks like a goddamn branch, but then it's a deer. So that's that mid part. And then at the end, that's exactly the point. My whole motivation for doing this is to convince myself and my mother that I'm ready to take on this job. You see? So it's
Conviction.
A call out to look at me. I saw the deer. You know what I mean? And this is really interesting. I'm glad this is going to be on the internet forever and recorded, because this is a very interesting piece of research. Not only what can you convey over Zoom, but what does a different language do for you, right? When you see something in a different language.
Yes.
And and how it reads in that specific way, because that's exactly the kind of impulses I was working with. Now, like you said, you didn't know exactly what I was talking about, right? But still the impulses carry over regardless of what language we're speaking. And that's really, really, really interesting, because like toward the end, said it was calling out, because that's literally what I do at the end. I say, he's gone. I'm the new boss. And that's what happened was supposed to happen. It was right. And I'm the boss. That's literally the end of the monologue, dude.
How freaking cool is that I sort of got these vibes.
Over Zoom. So maybe we're wrong again. We need to research this more. Maybe we were too harsh.
Zoom's permanent. Zoom's permanent change. I'll say this on an acting perspective. You do wonderful, distinct choices with regards to like where you're looking, and also then your posture. So I would say, bringing that forward, just be confident that you have it, where like you were very much, there was a warmth at the beginning to then you suddenly were just like a little bit more like moving around. And then suddenly it was like direct eye contact. You should watch it back, but you were just like, it was a sharpness, dude. And that's what gave me those feelings. So It's cool, dude. It's freaking cool.
Thank you. So that's what I'm going to bring in. You see, this is where we should be like, oh no, man, that's an absolute cluster. Beep. You know what I mean? Don't bring that. Oh, dude, the audition is only 2.5 days away, but you don't bring that in. Do something else. That's
bring in something else.
That's never going to work.
Oh man.
That was The Ring. We need a jingle. You know what I mean?
Shoot, we do. I don't got it.
Ding ding ding.
Yeah,
there has
I want
to be a bell. Yeah.
I want the
ding,
masks
ding, ding.
clicking.
Right. So if you're watching right now on the stream, just imagine that's what's happening. Ding ding ding. There's a ring. There's masks clipping, and that was it.
Yeah.
That was episode 1 of season 2 of A Craft Evolved. Jeff,
welcome back.
Welcome back.
Oh man, We did it. I'm enjoying the new format. Please, to any listeners, tell us if it works for you too. If you enjoy a more conversational vibe, and then ending with this ring idea, which I can already say I liked it. Like I think it's freaking cool.
I totally dig it.
Yeah, man. I'm into it.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you. If you're out there in the world right now watching us right at this moment, remember to subscribe so you know, and then you got to hit the little bell next to the subscribe button so you know every time we go live. We try to go kind of, if not weekly, roughly bi-weekly, right? Is that how we did it, Jeff?
Yes, but for sure this season you will see on our Instagram that we're going to go live.
That's the most important thing, probably. Hit us up on Instagram, because a lot of people have Instagram. A lot of the young people now have Instagram and stuff, right?
The youngsters now. Instagram.
Yeah, don't try to find us on TikTok because you won't. But Instagram, you can find us. And that will let you know, we'll post updates on what goes down and when we go up, because we try to make it a bi-weekly thing, but life happens. And we also stream together on another channel, which is the Original Yank channel. So if you don't catch us here, you'll see us, being cheeky and building bridges in Minecraft with the Squiggly Army. So, if you want your dosage of us too, knuckleheads, follow us here.
You got another venue.
Exactly. You got another
play
venue
video games.
Yep. So that'll be it. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. Everybody, stay awesome. We'll see you again next time. Until then.
Yes. Good night. Thank you for tuning in. Yes. That's all I'm going to say.
That's all you need to say. Thank you for tuning in. Good night, people.